public hearing. Mr. Brown.
Mr. President, members of the board, good afternoon. We have Ms. Coronel who will be presenting on the state compensatory.
Good afternoon, members of the board, community. Thank you so much for being here. Today, what I'm going to present to you as part of the public hearing is an evaluation of the state compensatory education program. We're mandated by law to present to the board and to the community if we have more than 55% of students at risk. To define students at risk, is students who are not passing, students who are failing, and the state provides additional funding to close the achievement gaps for these students. So in Progreso ISD, we currently have 76%. This is for last year. This is an evaluation for last year. Last year, we had 76% of our students being at risk. And this year, compared to this year, we have 71, which means that we're starting to close achievement gaps for the students. These are the numbers for school. At the high school, we have 68, DTMS 81, Progreso Elementary, we have 88%, and at the early childhood, we have 73%. So one of the indicators that will put you at risk is if you're a bilingual student. We have more bilingual students at the elementary. That's one of the reasons why you see a higher number at the elementaries compared to the secondary. And then the other indicator is that if the students failed, for example, the STAR or one of the assessments that we use for the lower grade levels, that would put you at risk. This is how we spent the funding last year. Pretty much most of the budget went to staffing. We spent 64% on payroll. It goes to interventionists, it goes to paraprofessionals, and it goes to pay 0.5% of the teachers at DTMS because the students have blocked schedules. So the second class, it's the one that is paid as through state compensatory. When it comes to utilizing state compensatory funds, it has to be supplemental. It cannot be something that you have to pay with 199. So it has to be something above and beyond what 999 would have to pay. And then we also have some supplies and materials. Mainly it is like the workbooks that students use for STAR practice, right? Instructional materials. And then we had 6% that we use it for contracted services. That would be like for professional development for teachers. Some of the programs that we purchased with state compensatory was iStation. As I mentioned, we use 6% for professional development, but mainly it goes to supplemental staff, interventionists that pull out the students who are at risk, and that second block that we have at DTMS. In the schools, we also do have a blended learning period. So this is where the students are being engaged in iStation and some of the programs that we purchased through ESSER. Now, this is the data that we're mandated to report to you. One of them is the high school graduation rate. If you can see, there's a 4% difference from all students to students who are at risk, which it means that some of the interventions are working. There's not too much of a gap between the graduation rate. This is the performance. We do see that the students at risk are performing below the old students, right? But the gap is not pretty significant. You see that it's very comparable to the old students. So this is reading, this is math, and as well as you can see, students who are at risk are very comparable, even though they have a history of failing in the past. One of the students' assessments, you see that the interventions that we're doing are actually working. Mainly at DTMS, which we saw the scores drastically increase this school year. These are the scores for science, and the scores are the scores that you see here are for last year, and this is for social studies. So in conclusion, we see that as part of the evaluation that the interventions that we're using are being effective and at least closing the achievement gap between the at-risk students compared to the all students. There's still additional gaps that we need to close. They're not exactly at the same, right? We continue working towards that. And at this point, I will open it to anybody that would like to comment or add any suggestions for the state compensatory program.
So we have a public comments by public. Or if there's more discussion, please, gentlemen.
I have a question.
Go.
So according to the federal accountability from 23, we are at risk because we have 2s, 3s, and 4s. For special education, bilingual students, and dyslexia, which is now part of the special education. So you told me that because I asked Mr. Coronado for the new report. Were there improvements from 23 to 24? Because I know it's available for the.
So I can tell you, for special ed is different than at risk, because students who are special ed are not at risk. The only ones that would be at risk would be like emerging bilinguals.
But most, I mean, we know the population. So most of them are EVs, they have several factors, it's not just one. So that's
For,
why,
for this specific purpose, there's 13 indicators.
okay, which ones are these?
Special ed is not one of them. So it would be, if you're pregnant, it would be, if you fail 1 year, you automatically put you at risk. If you're an EV, would make you a student who's at risk. Special ed is not one of the indicators for this specific purpose.
Okay. So you're telling me that if we compare the data from previous years to this year, there is an improvement,
Yes, so like specifically, I can tell you for grade level.
okay?
What interventions are you doing? What interventions are you doing?
So I can tell you, the two things that worked the most, and the one that showed the most growth was at DTMS. We do have a block schedule, which only happens at DTMS, meaning that students who, you're supposed to have one reading, so instead of having one period of reading, they have 2 periods, right? And the second period is being paid with state compensatory. We cannot do it at the high school, because they don't have space. They don't have space to have like a double class.
Yes, there is. We have a model. I'm gonna tell you how we do it. We do have several periods, and it takes support from the district. So we have intervention. It's a local credit, but it's possible. Have you looked into any possibilities?
So like for everybody, we do have it, we do have one state compensatory teacher who's there, so we do have intervention, but not for everybody. So in comparison to DTMS, every single kid has 2 periods. At the high school, only the kids that are failing get that intervention.
So it's possible to create a schedule, but it takes a lot of planning, so.
So you have it, like,
what's your
every
plan?
student has 2
They-
2 periods,
They have an intervention plan for reading, an intervention plan for math.
but only the ones that are failing, well, like every student.
It's the ones that are failing, but I mean, those are the ones you're gonna target, because those are your at-risk population.
Yes, you're right. So like the model that they have in DTMS is every single student. So like,
And that's why you're
Even-
using the
even-
funds for that.
yes,
what I
even
understand.
before you even fail, I'm already providing you an intervention. Versus at the high school, we do have one teacher who is paid with state compensatory, who is what you're saying. Only the kids that have failed are the ones that are receiving the intervention, but it's not being proactive. It's
So
not,
what's your plan for the high school? That's what I'm asking.
Right now, we have the principal's presentation, and every principal is gonna present their plan to you. And if you have any suggestions, we're open, like,
So,
right
but
now,
at the district level, I just wanna make sure that they're receiving.
definitely, right now,
I know as an administrator, you wear so many hats that sometimes we need the support from you.
yeah, in this case, the support that we provide through state compensatory is basically paying for the staff and paying for the resources at that level. Right now, that every principal presents to you, they're gonna present to you the plan specifically to their needs. Does that make sense?
Yes, it is.
any other question, any other
Any other
questions?
questions? All right, does anyone need a motion for to approve? Motion Villarreal, second Flores, all in favor, say aye. Aye, motion adjourn, I need a motion to adjourn. Motions by Ms. Villarreal, second by Ms. Martinez, all in favor, say aye. Aye, motion passes. We adjourn. Right, it's gonna be 6:08, we go to a regular meeting. At this time, we could please stand up for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible. Yes, sir. Heavenly Father, thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to be here. Please bless our students, our staff, our teachers, our administrators, and also our board members. Please give them the wisdom to make the best decisions for our district and our students. And in Jesus Christ's name.
Do we have any public audience?
No.
No public audience, all right, we go to A4, board minutes for August 8, 2024, August 26, 2024, August 30, 2024, and September 23rd, 2024. Need a motion to approve the minutes. Motion by Ms. Martinez, second by Ms. Villarreal, all in favor, say aye. Aye, motion passes. At this time, we go to district report, Mr. Coronado.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Board President, members of the board, good afternoon, community. This Friday, we had our snapshot, and very happy to say that the high school had 95% attendance. Could be better, but we got there. DTMS got 96%, elementary got 96.5, and
Progreso Early Childhood got 95%, so I want to give a round of applause to our principals. We were working running back and forth coding for snapshots, so we were able to complete that. For athletics, we're gonna have a presentation for you. Cross country made it to district champions. We're gonna recognize the students. Right now, also our band received Division I. We are very, very proud of our band students. We're gonna recognize them today. And during our next board meeting, we're gonna recognize volleyball because they won on Friday and they made it to district champions as well. Let's give a round of applause for them. An update on the turf. Finally, we got the 3 quotes. It's here. I put it on the agenda. We'll talk about it right now. Probably start our turf next week, depending on your guidance. Also, we went out for bids for the fence and the safety doors. Let me give it to you. This is the information. We posted this on the newspaper. It came out on Saturday, request for proposals, and we're gonna focus on the fencing and also the doors that we need to fix across the district to make sure that our schools are safe. The deadline would be November 14. During our next meeting, I'll give you an update, and then you will give us the guidance to see what company we choose. For the auditorium, we have Mr. Pettis here with TriMat. We had a conversation. The plan for the auditorium is this, because they started the analysis of the auditorium. However, what I told them is if the stage is strong enough and the structure works, we're gonna open our auditorium already. If we need to fix something on the stage, that's gonna be our priority. The exterior part will be taking place throughout the year, but the main thing is the stage. If the stage works, we're gonna start opening our auditorium for obviously our students in the community. Mr. Pettis?
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Jose Perez. I'm with TriMat Consultants. Yes, like Mr. Coronel mentioned, what we did is we put a group, we contacted an architect and a geotech to get all the information that's needed, trying to figure out how is it getting flooded. Once we have something, we will be presenting a report to you, which will include all the requirements as well as an estimate. This will take approximately between 6 weeks to 8 weeks to get everything done. I think that's pretty much it on that, what we have right now. And then once we have that, we'll address anything that's it's needed for the auditorium. And based on the environmental as well, that will tell us if it will be possible to be used portions of it or things that need to be replaced.
Appreciate Mr. Pettis.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Obviously, we have to work on the roof, or we have to work on the walls. That we can do that throughout the year. The main thing right now is the stage, and we'll let you know. And it won't take as much time on the stage as the other factors. Also, we have a little report on the teacher incentive allotment. Ms. Coronado is here to provide the contract and duties and responsibilities of the company that we hired last year. And just to give you a small summary.
Good afternoon, Mr. Board President, Mr. Board members. So to give a little context who we had in the past 3 years, we had Educate Texas. We had a partnership with Dr. Socorro Espinosa. She used to be here in the past with Project Rise. So she had worked already with the 2 elementaries. That was free, but last year was the first year that she wasn't going to provide any technical assistance anymore. So we had to search for somebody. One of the things that the teachers were asking for was a way to standardize the way growth was measured. It was very evident that more teachers that were designated in the elementaries, so teachers in the secondary were asking, well, we want to have the same equitable access to the teacher incentive allotment. What are other ways that can happen, because most of the designations are happening in the elementary? So one of the things that Dr. Espinosa recommended is going with value-added measure, which is something that the district had used in the past. It's not something new, the district had used it with her. But the company that they were using, which is called EVAS, was very expensive. She said like the only way that we could pay for something like that would be if we did a partnership with several districts, and not a lot of districts were available to do it. So that's why we went with this other company, which is called Deep Dive. The cost that we were paying was minimal compared to what she was paying when she was in Region 1. And what they would do is calculate value-added measure, which is a statistical way to control for all of these differences that the teachers were asking for. They provided all the data for submission. They did all the 13 checks for TIA to make sure that we passed validation once we submitted all the data, and they would help us with expansion. Any questions?
Any question for us?
Thank you for the breakdown.
It is a very, very good company, and I think the teachers right now are happy because we have a standard across when it comes to teacher incentive allotment. Now I have Mr. Juan Hernandez. He's going to give you a small summary on our grants, the ones that we're applying to. Mr. Hernandez?
Sir, good afternoon, Mr. President, members of the board. The administration is currently working along with our